Gay programming.
How you doing, folks? It's me, Fem Marks, Marceline, and this is another episode of that gay podcast, Gay Programming. As always, I'm joined by my lovely boyfriend, Merlin. I was gonna say Marceline for a second. What a fucking narcissist I am. I'm dating myself every fucking day.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a lovely day here in Portland, Oregon. One of many. It's yet another beautiful spring day, and we just had a lovely weekend together. Yeah, we just got fresh back from the Portland Art Museum, where we saw mostly the Frida exhibition that they have there.
Ew.
Yeah, that echoed through the whole apartment.
Yeah, that was gross.
I'm sorry. That was like a water burp. That was like, that was sorry about
that.
You can't judge me. I'm sorry. Anyways, but yeah, we saw a fucking dope ass Frida Kahlo exhibition. What is that her last name?
Carlo?
Yeah, Kahlo is that?
No.
Oh, what's her last name?
Kahlo.
Oh, cauliflower?
I could even be mispronouncing it a little bit. Honestly.
Yeah, well, we're
I'm
dumb
sorry.
white people. We're
sorry
dumb white Anglo-Saxons who don't know how to speak language. But yeah, we saw that dope ass, and it just breathes. You know, it was so rejuvenating to me personally. That was my second time seeing it. I fucking love that I live in a city with like a really. I'm not gonna say it's like the best like art museum of all time, but it's a pretty damn good one, pretty solid all around, and it just brings me so much joy that I'm not back in Sarasota with the shit fucking Ringling Brothers fucking Museum. Put in a sound effect to show my feelings about that right now. Yeah, that place fucking sucks ass.
Never been.
Yeah, good. Don't ever fucking go there unless you want to see.
Isn't it like a college too, like an art college?
No. I mean, they have a Ringling College of Art and Design, which is.
Are they not related?
No. I mean, they're like under this. They're like operated by the same like institution, which is like the Ringling Foundation.
It's really funny if there's like no affiliation.
No, I mean, like they're two separate entities. Like
right.
There's the school and then there's the museum. But yeah, they work in close association with each other, and they are owned by like I don't know what their name is, but it's like the Ringling Foundation.
Right.
And if you don't know who the Ringlings are, the Ringling Brothers, and they're two fucking assholes who decided to enslave a bunch of animals to do fucking parlor tricks in front of a bunch of rubes.
Is that not like extremely common knowledge? Did I just grow up in Sarasota?
I mean, no, I think it's probably more common knowledge for like Sarasota people, because it is it's just such a big space there. Like, that's literally, like, Sarasota, Florida's, like, street cred is like, oh, we're the home of Ringling, the art college.
Yeah, that and Siesta Key, and that's Sarasota.
Yeah, that's basically it, and it's such a fucking laugh because, like, of course, the quote-unquote famous art institution of Florida is Ringling, started by a fucking huckster. Fucking did clown makeup in front of fucking like stupid New Yorkers or whatever. Yeah. The only thing I will say that is kind of cool about the Ringling Museum is that it has a pretty dope ass like garden. Kind of for Florida, it's a pretty, considering like Florida, you only see like fucking mulch and imported like palm trees.
Yeah, my friend.
That garden's pretty dope for the area.
Yeah, I have a friend, and I don't know what their title is, but they have a degree about plants and they work in the garden, or they did at one point. I think now they might actually be teaching. I don't know. It's
a pretty sweet gig, honestly. I've always thought about when I was really young, I thought about working at the Ringling Museum, but yeah, I didn't want to do that because again, I hate that fucking museum.
Yeah. Sound logic.
Yeah. But, back to Portland Art Museum. It's pretty dope. What was your thoughts about it? I know it was your first time going through Frida's stuff, which I thought was probably the creme de la creme of their current piece. We also went through their modern exhibitions, which I didn't go through the last time.
So I had similar thoughts to it. To a lesser extent, I think, but I had very similar thoughts that I had at the Oregon Museum of Science and Industry's Nelson Mandela exhibit that they did for a little while. Basically, the vibe of it was, it focused on a lot of the suffering and the inequality and all of that stuff. And there were a lot of just upper class looking white people going through the exhibit who looked like they would call the cops if a homeless black man came within 10 feet of them. And it just seemed very, I can't say hypocritical necessarily, but I don't know, just, an exhibition that focuses so heavily on black suffering like they did in that, the way they did the exhibit, it felt like black suffering kind of by and for white people. Mm-hmm. And at the Frida exhibit, I loved it to death. I loved being there. And I guess myself as a white person, I am hypocritical in both situations. But I kind of got similar energy, I guess, of just, if you know who Frida was and the things that she stood for and everything, I think a lot of the people there at that exhibit as well are happy to appreciate her artwork, and take their kids there and, make a Sunday out of it, but they would not have supported or stood for a lot of those things, if that makes sense. And maybe I'm just being judgy.
No, I think you're definitely going like on a right route. I would even agree with you on a lot of that. I definitely think that like people, I would argue, I think, especially judging some of the people we saw there, they probably just, like, don't even really know Frida past, like, oh, that's the chick with the unibrow.
Yeah.
Or,
I have a story in a second, but continue.
Yeah, no. But, like, I think definitely now the real shame with Frida, I'm really happy that they had that exhibition for me personally because I'm a big fan of Frida. I really, I really, like, dig and vibe with what she was trying to do. And understand the like deep entrenchment of like revolutionary thought that's like entrenched in her work, and especially like the history of Latin American like suffragette movement. I don't know what you would want to call it, but she definitely is this like figure of this immense power, and that power comes from like really like real heavy stuff that comes from like an understanding of like revolutionary history. But most people now are just taking her in, unfortunately what happens to a lot of artists is where they take this skill, this craftsman who was creating this work that was informed off of a really revolutionary mindset, and they just see the power that's behind it, and then they just take that power and then put it as however they want it. So, you have moments where, like, a liberal fucking soccer mom who believes in, like, girl power feminism, like Margaret Thatcher was a girl boss kind of shit, could also look at Frida on surface or go to that exhibition and be like, oh, I get her. I'm also a supporter of Frida because she was a badass girl bitch without like even considering thinking the grander context or the grander themes that she was pushing and the big systemic problems that she was fighting.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely agree with that. And it is kind of something that does happen to a lot of creators where, the context gets taken away from their work and it becomes more widely profitable in that process, for sure.
I mean, hey, just look at fucking Vincent van Gogh.
Right.
The fucking poor guy who no one gave any mental health help, and then as soon as he fucking offs himself, they're like, these are pretty good paintings.
Yeah.
They're pretty good.
Like, can we talk about the fact that there's genuinely that argument of like, oh, well, if he wasn't depressed, we wouldn't have had his artwork. And I'm like, yeah, first of all, we would have had a lot more of his artwork. Second of all, good. I'd rather the man live a happy life than make fucking paintings. Like,
And also, do they not fucking, like, are they not at all familiar with fucking Vincent van Gogh's work? And that, like, they're almost like, I have heard that where people was like, oh, if he's not depressed, then he would have made, like, fucking Starry Night. And I'm like, his whole work is, like, the beauty of nature and color around us. Like, his is, like, a desperate fight to see the beauty that he has a very hard time summoning in himself. Like, this is not fucking whiny bitch boy Edgar Allan Poe, like, fucking high off of fucking, like, Four Loko opium cans, sitting in the corner going, like, nevermore, nevermore, nevermore. Vincent van Gogh is just a really sad guy going, like, I can't afford Prozac because that shit isn't invented. My closest thing to achieve any kind of mental serenity in my hellscape around me is painting shit. Painting my surroundings and seeing the deep little small details of beauty that, you know, other people overlook. It's fucking crazy stupid.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so my story. This is kind of dumb, but I just think it's really funny. So, we all like to shit on people who are in movements, and don't really research those movements. So way back when I was dating this cis guy, I know, bad decision on my part.
Cancel gay programming blacklist.
And I had, I had that lovely, I'm pointing to it. Y'all can't see it. Sucks to be you. But
you gotta get on the Patreon.
We'll post like a really blurry photo of it.
On my flip phone.
I had that lovely photo of Frida above my bed.
Oh yeah, I think you told me.
And dude and I are hanging out my bed, and he looks up and he goes, "Who's that?" And I was like, I'm just gonna wait. I'm just gonna put him through a little test. So I said, "Why do you ask?" And he goes, "I'm looking at her and I feel like she has bad takes."
She's gonna take away my video games because Lara Croft has big tits.
I just remember sitting there like, oh my god, because like this was someone who bragged a lot about the fact that he read Conquest of Bread and was like he wanted everyone to know that he was smarter than them because of that. And I was just sitting there like, and I was like, why? And he was like, I don't know, just something about like her face. Like,
she's a bitch. She wouldn't look at me and desire my dick, so I am not interested in that whore.
Just like, oh, I don't find this person conventionally attractive, so I don't think they have good takes. Like, what?
Which
bullshit.
Is so bullshit because Frida is the sexiest fucking girl boss ever.
Absolutely.
She will make your toes curl like it was fucking nothing. Oh my god. That bitch is beautiful inside and out and all throughout.
I really do dig. I mean, as has been proved, I do love a woman with a mustache. And
I do. It tickles.
Yeah.
It makes you giggle when you kiss her. It was really funny too at the art exhibition. It was there was one guy just like walking around. I think I told you about this. And I was in a skirt at this time. And I'm in the personal. I'm a little bit like Frida. I'm not someone who wants to shave my face or, you know, I very much love people who put makeup, but I ain't got no fucking time for that. I'm a fucking busy girl boss. I can't be wasting my time looking pretty. I am pretty. So yeah, I don't really, I'm like a goth chick who refuses to wear makeup because that's her thing. I don't know. But, anyways, I was wearing a skirt, and, you know, I have facial hair, and, well, I guess this guy couldn't see it because we were one of the very few people wearing masks in this place.
Yeah, I mean, you got a little
well, yeah, they could probably see, because I've been slumping, I got a little bit of a girl beard, on my neck.
Very sexy girl beard, might I narrate for the audience.
Yeah, like, you know, I was just under my mask slipping out, like a little piece of leg slipping out. So yeah, he walks by, and he like looks down, and I see his like eyes like light up when he sees my skirt, and then he looks up at me, and he goes, does not compute. That should not be wearing a skirt. That should not be wearing a skirt. And just like shook his head a little bit and then just started walking away. And I was just laughing and I'm like, man, you know, say what you want about the fucking homophobes that I could have frequently encountered if I was more open about my gender when I was in probably less hospitable places in Florida. Mm-hmm. That if that interaction happened, you know, it probably would have led to be like, this thing Hollywood, faggot, or whatever. But this fucking, I love that we're in the West Coast. We're in the city where if we do deal with homophobes like that, they're fucking sniveling pussies who have never done a courageous, brave thing in their fucking lives. So they just quietly judge in their brains, imagining themselves as the buff action heroes they dream themselves being, and finally approaching me in the art museum of Frida that his wife dragged him to, probably. And, you know, straighten me out, straighten my son out. But, you know, again, he was a pussy, and I'm a big fucking alpha bitch, and he didn't want to approach that.
Yeah, no, that's because, you know, they're all vitamin D deficient here, so...
Yeah, that's true.
So he's like, if she goes, like, wants to fight me, I can't fight back. I don't have fucking energy in my body.
Like, look at her. She's been grown like the size of a giant thanks to the sun rays of Florida, like radiation. Like, holy shit. She's like a super anarcho-communist. Like Superman. Like, oh my god, but a chick!
Yeah. I unfortunately had the override of being Irish, so I did not get any of the buff Florida rays because they just burn me and then I go back.
Yeah, no, you had to hide underneath the potato to not get fucking drenched in the cancerous rays of the devilish English sun.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's the trade-off though, is I can't go out in the sun, kind of like a weird little vampire, so I don't get its power, but I do have the power of
I thought you were gonna say, like, where are Irish people from? Like, I don't know. From certain parts of New York?
I don't know. I have the power of writing poems and crying.
Yeah, that is, like, those are unique abilities of the Irish people. Those are, like, those are their superpowers in a lot of ways. Like, you know,
my granddad would agree.
Yeah,
Rest in peace, bless his heart.
But... Yeah, they should be joining the X-Men. They should be joining the, dare I say, the Shamrock Men.
Shamrock Men.
Yeah, I'll be taking my
Sounds
Mark Twain
like
Award for funniest woman alive.
Sounds like a slur for gay people. Shamrock Men.
No, I mean, like, I think I would think it sounded like someone, like a gay thing, but Irish people would adorn that term on their, like, fucking stupid denim jackets while they listen to Dropkick Murphys, going like, this is who I am! This is what I do! I'm the stupid fuck!
I might just put a Shamrock Boy on my jacket just to fuck with you.
I mean, you can. That's a good... We'll sell t-shirts of that. Shamrock Boy, and it's like you twerking underneath it. I'll draw it. I'll doodle
like
it.
That.
Well,
do that.
too bad. It's already up. It's already being sold. We're already sold out. It's everywhere.
Everywhere. I'm going to be haunted by it for the rest of my life.
Yeah, you're going to be walking down the streets of Portland, and some guy is going to be like, whoa, isn't that the weird creature that's on my autistic daughter's t-shirt saying Shamrock Boy? Like, whoa, I know that creature. That's a famous creature.
Man, speaking of being a famous creature,
Mm-hmm.
I got 2 extra holes in my nose yesterday.
Oh yeah, you did.
I did, and it was incredible. If you're in the Portland area, check out Seven Wolf. He's an Association of Professional Piercings member and is not sponsoring this podcast, but I love him.
Oh, you didn't get the text? He's actually they're actually sponsored. Yeah, we're sponsored now.
Wow.
Yeah, we're sponsored.
Thanks so much,
them.
Bud.
Yeah, he
sponsored by giving me more piercings.
He paid me with giving me Prince Albert on my girl dick.
Anyway, I was saying, so, they have you fill out the release form before you get there saying you won't sue them if you get COVID or whatever. And I filled that out and it asked for pronouns, and I was like, fuck it. I'm feeling spunky. I'm only going to put it pronouns. I normally put he, it. But today, I'm getting rid of the he, baby.
Yeah, woo! That's when the audience gets all hot and bothered.
Boys gone wild. The piercer fucking used them, and it was incredible, because I kind of forgot I did it. Because, fun fact, my nose actually leans to the right a little bit, so they were struggling with the placement to get it symmetrical.
Yeah, Merlin's what we call deformed.
I am not. Other than the plastic surgery I had at 3.5 months old that made my face severely weird, but
yeah, just a fucking bit of acid thrown into your face.
No.
Yeah, it's true story.
Something was removed from my face. Anyway.
Yeah, the acid
burn. But yeah, so he asked someone else who worked there to come in and get like a second pair of eyes on the placement before he did it. And he was like, oh yeah, I was like having it tilt its head around and like so I could get a better look at its nose, and I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna cry, I love you. And it was just like so, I don't know, natural, and there was like no hesitation, and I feel like it's been very rare that I even hear people use he, him pronouns for me that comfortably. So for it to be it pronouns was just even better. And like, of course he's not cis. I would not expect such quality from a cis person, although I shouldn't be able to. However, yeah. No,
honestly, I mean, even though it's come with some struggles here and there, because hey, cis people are learning, even the good ones, and they're trying their best sometimes. But even at my workplace, when I came out, as like she, her pronouns, and I was doing really like pussyfoot kind of shit where I'm like, well, maybe if you want to call me she, her, you can, but people were like, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna like really insisting, kind of like knowing that I was like really timid at that time. And even though there's clearly straight times where they'll call me dude, like, well, not dude, I'm fine with dude, but like they'll just like misgender me in small kind of ways or whatever, and they'll get really silent and awkward and look at me like a fucking deer in headlights. But overall though, they were pretty like accommodating and accepting and honestly like encouraging. And I've lived elsewhere from time to time, but a lot in the South, and this is like the first time where like just saying that people are like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, I can't, like, and some people are like, okay, like, and clearly wanting to refer it elsewhere and not respect that at all, but, still, it is pretty nice that I'm finally in an environment where that's just kind of like, I don't need to necessarily fight too much to be embraced in that, and that's pretty refreshing.
I'm glad you feel that way. Yeah, my experience as of super duper recently. So fun fact, I got my entire name legally changed. It's so fucking easy to do it in Oregon. But
it's like a bite of a fresh apple for the first time, right?
I got my full name and gender marker on my ID legally changed back in August, and it is now end of April. Only last week was I able to change it with Social Security, because they fucking suck. But anyway, so this has led to a lot of, like, me needing to change it elsewhere. And no matter how clear I make it, people just don't comprehend that trans people exist unless outright told. Like,
Or that they're physically there, like they're talking to a trans person,
yeah,
or they're
just
reminded,
it's
yeah.
like babies without object permanence. Like,
Well, yeah, I mean, I think even in, especially, I don't want to say like capitalism in the whole, but I definitely like, I feel like in American society, like it's not a lot of people have very good object permanence when it comes to like a lot of things that are outside of their realm of
yeah,
understanding.
because even so, like when I enrolled in my current college, um, I enrolled under my old name, and then they needed a copy of my ID, which had been updated already. So I sent them an email. Hey, here's a photocopy of my ID. Here's a photocopy of the judge signed document listing my old and new name. I had it changed for this reason. Here you go. And they literally responded like, "This is the ID of somebody else. It has to be your ID if you're going to be the enrolled student." And I was like, "Y'all are so stupid." Pardon me? Like, what part are you not getting about 2 plus 2 is 4? Um, Same thing with my
Yeah, because
insurance.
they got to be careful. Like
Yeah.
we can't have anyone committing fraud by changing their fucking name. Like we can't have that
Uh,
happen. Like it's like I literally they're all like ready and trained to find like fucking threats that never
yeah.
happen and only seem to be like training them to be on edge at every fucking encounter. So
Yeah.
when they interact with minority classes like trans people, they are fucking offensive and fucking like, detrimental to the betterment of these people. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, for sure. And even, like, because especially, first of all, like, oh god, I'd hate for somebody else to be charged my student debt. But also, like, um, just like, even with my insurance, this very sweet customer service rep did a very funny, kind of cute, but also just bizarre in a way thing where, so I'm updating my name and I'm like, name change to this, gender change to that. I was like, here's my old first, middle, and last name. Here's my new first, middle, and last name. And she goes, that is an entirely different name. Are you trying to add a driver to your policy? And I just went, no. And I said, and then she was like, oh, okay. May I ask why you're changing your full name? And I said, I'm transgender. And she said, cool beans. Which I think is such a, like, oh shit, I fucked up response.
My mama always taught me to be polite.
Yeah, right?
Even if you don't agree, if you got nothing nice to say, don't say it.
Like, anytime I come out to anyone, they better fucking respond with cool beans.
Yeah.
That is, like...
It's a good response. If you
Yeah.
accidentally say something racist at the next Thanksgiving meal, oop, oh, cool beans. Cool beans.
Yeah.
It's your get out of jail free card.
Yeah. Yeah.
So one funny thing coming out in the news today, I was, me, got my journalist hat on, got my fucking trench coat on. I'm hungry, snooping down in the streets, trying to get myself a fresh story, and I grabbed one today, snuck it right out of the sky, grabbed it right out, and it was a story that I found where back in our home state, good old Florida.
Is it the math book thing?
No, well,
Oh,
you can
boy.
tell me about that about later. But this is another piece of small little bit of story of good old God, King, Emperor Ron DeSantis, rightfully striking down the bigoted anti-homophobic company. Disney, the Walt Disney Company, has stripped them of their mighty throne of Orlando, Florida. They no longer have special legal authority. The Mickey Mouse jail underneath the Walt Disney amusement park in Orlando has been abolished, and the many slaves that have been held captive in its great dungeons have been released to roam the great fields of Florida once again, free under the great leadership of mighty Ron DeSantis. So what are your opinions of this great development? This great development.
it's something that I'm physically incapable of caring about.
I don't, personally, I just don't give a shit.
No, I mean, like, fuck's sake, man. I'm like, I remember you telling me that in the car, and my literal response was like, okay, so what's the result of this gonna be?
I honestly am kind of curious, because if anyone who doesn't know or who hasn't, like, been to Orlando and isn't, like, a brain-dead Disney adult who's, like, only focusing on, like, the minimum wage worker, like, suffocating in a Mickey Mouse outfit. Like, if you go to Orlando and you just realize just how much fucking Disney owns that fucking town.
Yeah.
Like, I'm talking infrastructure. I'm talking separate shell companies they own. They fucking, like, they have an entire wing that's named after them in the Orlando fucking, like, representative building. Like, it's fucking insane, the amount. And I'm just like, granted, with Ron DeSantis, he's a big old shower, not a lot of doer kind of type of person. So maybe he's just passing this in all but name. And yeah, maybe the cops have to take off the Orlando cops have to take off the Mickey Mouse buttons on their pant, like on their fucking blue vest or whatever. But again, like, what are you gonna do about, like, the college that Disney owns and, like, fucking funds the entire film program that, like, brings a shit ton of money and is, like, a big cultural significant point of the Orlando development project, and, like, countless other things that fucking Disney has its fucking tendrils in.
Yeah, there's all of that. Part of me wants to just be like, man, it's so fucking mind-numbingly insane and preposterous that, like, a company got to that point anyway. Like,
off of making shit movies.
Well, yeah, and I'm like, they shouldn't even have what they're being stripped of anyway, but also fuck Ron DeSantis. So it's just, that's why I say I can't care, because I'm like, I just hate everybody involved.
Well, to, like, build on your point where it's like, yeah, it's fucking bullshit why Disney even had that power to begin with. And it's even more fucking insane that the person who apparently, quote unquote, maybe potentially, I don't really think, but is stripping Disney's power from Orlando by decree, that it was all because Disney said, yeah, okay, well, we really don't want to piss off gay people, so we won't fund, like, raving lunatics in Florida Congress who definitely think trans people are, like, psychosexual killers who are after our children.
Yeah, and I think it's very funny that Ron DeSantis heard that and decided to publicly go, hey!
Hey! That's not nice!
Yeah. I thought you were going to talk about what...
yeah, tell me about. I don't even know about this math textbook. What are you talking about?
I've done zero personal research into it.
That is exactly the amount of research I want in every news story. I want gut reaction. I want riffs. I don't want any fucking facts.
Again, it's just something that I'm like, it's not a stupid issue if it is the way it was phrased to me, but, like, obviously it sucks and just is a further testament to Florida sucking, but I'm also just like, man, so much other shit is taking up my brain space right now that I'm not gonna look into this for the betterment of my mental health. Someone was telling me, I guess Florida banned, like, a shit ton of math textbooks because they're teaching critical race theory, allegedly.
In the books?
Allegedly.
Like, is it like...
I don't know.
So if one person has oppression and you times that by 3 oppressions, what do you get when a white man enslaves an Asian versus a black person?
I don't know.
Damn, these fucking textbooks are woke as shit.
No, I think it's gotta be something about, like, percentages.
Or it could just be an absolute lie created on Twitter.
It could be.
It could just be a fucking algorithm putting words together to create outrage.
I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't put it past those type of people to look at a math textbook and go, "This is critical race theory with zero basis whatsoever."
Yeah, so
Um,
they're like wanting to replace the math textbooks with like one fish, two fish, blue fish.
yeah. Um, but yeah, I don't know. But I was just when I heard it, I was just like, I would not put that past Florida, and I could be wrong. Maybe I'm taking it way out of context because I'm just repeating what was said to me by someone. But
Considering that they're literally dressing up in like black leather outfits and going to school, knocking on each door and be like, "Do you have any trans students? Is there any trans students in the premises?
oh my god,
Does anyone go by they, them pronouns? Or any of the other non-64 genders?"
God, yeah, I have no idea. Like I am beginning to lose because you know how like in one episode we just recounted a list of all the bullshit that we've seen Florida do legally.
Yeah, no, that
I'm
was a
beginning
dope
to
episode.
I'm beginning to lose count. Like as time goes on, I'm like, okay, counting on my fingers everything I can remember. And
No, I mean Florida is a fucking hellscape of
Yeah.
unimaginable horrors, and the thing is you know, I say that, but I also want to, you know, put a semicolon between that because I want to say the rest of the country for trans people is not much better. So it's not like, oh, Florida, the yuck those fucking rubes. It's not like, you know, even in Portland, Oregon, as much of some solace and peace and hope that I've found in my community here. Yeah, any trans person will tell you, no, this is still not like, dog, let me tell you some fucking laundry list of bullshit.
Oh, yeah.
It's not cool beans, I can tell you that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's so bizarre to me that Portland has this representation of being like this extremely leftist, like socialist, like place, and I'm like, God, it's not.
I mean, there's movements of it here,
Well, like if
definitely, but I mean, yeah, it's not like, you know, it's not like you're not going in the street and everyone's like "Death to America" and doing like the fist and saying like "America" with 3 Ks. Like, it's there are some Nazi ass fucking white supremacist motherfuckers here, and they are a very strong force here because they've been here for quite a long time.
And I even feel like I don't know, I guess that's just how it varies everywhere, but like the fucking police in Portland, are you kidding me?
Psychotic,
Yeah.
thuggish, fucking barbarous.
Yeah.
Fucking, like, some of them look like straight out, like, literally look like what you would, like, draw for, like, a Public Enemy album cover. Just like a fucking grunting looking mess with a big fucking gun right strapped to their fucking chest.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's just like Portland in a lot of ways sucks just as much or even more in some cases than like a lot of other cities out there. It just does it with like fucking the progress flag also as a patch on the cop shirt while they're like shooting disabled people because they're homeless.
Because hey man, they just care. They care. It's not about that. Well, one thing I wanted to talk about, you know, I'm kind of veering off. I'm veering off, turning left, because we did record one episode, or at least we tried. This is not officially episode 8. This is well, now it is, but there was a previous episode 8. That's right, we're going Twilight Zone. Yeah, fuck, wow. But and you may be asking, maybe your dumb self may be sitting on the other side of the headphones going like, well, what happened? What happened, Marceline? What happened to the podcast? Well, I'll tell you, dumbass. It fucking is gone. I don't know what happened. I don't know. It fucking disappeared. Disappeared off the face of the fucking earth. Like, it's not on files. It was recording. All the batteries were, like, charged and everything.
We were too powerful.
I don't know. Yeah, it fucking...
the CIA.
It's gone. It's gone. But, anyways. So, this is the new episode, and I remember, amongst other things that we talked about on that episode, between that and then, I got myself my first 2 tattoos. I'm pretty sure I haven't talked about that.
You haven't? No, I was trying to remember time.
Well, yeah, not like, yeah, I know what you're saying. I said it weird. But, anyways, but I did just recently get my first 2 tattoos.
Yes. They're flaky now.
Yeah, they're flaky now. I'm fucking slapping my fucking wrist like a junkie. People are looking at me like crazy. But yeah, I'm slapping it. And, again, it's a podcast. I can't show you the fucking tattoos. But one of them, both of them were done by my good friend Jacob, who is, his Instagram's Don't Burn the Fires.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I'll link him down below. He's a very talented tattoo artist, lovely human being.
He gave me a frog tattoo.
Yeah, he also did a dope...
I worded that for a second as if he just handed me an amphibian.
Yeah, he just gave it to you.
No, he gave me a frog tattoo.
Yeah, cool little punk ass little frog playing the tube thing. I don't know.
Wash tub?
Yeah, wash tub. Playing a wash tub. But
I love listening to the tube thing.
Yeah, the tube thing. Yeah. It's a very popular instrument in the South.
It's very difficult to master.
Yes,
here.
It's easy. Is it easy to pick up? Hard to master. It's only the masters like Elvis could have really done it. But Jacob, he did 3 tattoos for us. My first 2 of them were my first tattoos, right on my wrist, and I was talking to him a little bit about it, and I'll share it with here too. That I've been feeling really good recently. Like, it's the first time I've ever felt like confident in my skin and who I was, and not judging myself or second guessing myself, and just embracing what comes and doing what I can in the moment. And it's hard sometimes to get yourself to that point, especially when you're trans, because you're always in this like constant confliction, especially when you're at a point in your life where the only, like, even at the experience of looking at the mirror and seeing the wrong thing looking back at you is a very disorienting and depressing situation, and people who have that, I'm sure, understand and have dealt it with their own shades and whatever. But definitely thanks to the tattoo that I got, which has my name. I know I'm a basic bitch who has a name tattooed, but it's my name. It's my new name that I chose for myself, Marcie. And looking down, short for Marceline, and looking down at it, even in my like darkest moments, it like brings me down and centers me back to earth, even when I'm thinking like, oh, I still look like a dude. What is a dude? Society is a lie. We all live in an algorithm. Just fucking mind on fire. But yeah, so I know Jacob sometimes listens to the podcast, so I know I've already told.
Really?
Yeah, he's said to me he's listened. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he just fucking lied to me. But if you do listen,
whoa, hi Jacob.
Yeah, hey Jacob.
Shout out,
my dude. Yeah, but if you do listen, and just people all around, like it's I don't know. It brings me a lot of peace and joy, and I thought I'd just share that with you because, hey man, we don't got a lot of beautiful, sweet little stories from little pussies, so might as well squirt one out, right?
Yeah, I support that, babe. I feel the same way about Boppo the Frog. I'm kidding.
No, I mean, Boppo the Frog is dope. He's like such a dope piece. He's like really, like, I know you say that you don't really like American traditional, but I think like it's a good kind of soft American traditional piece, honestly. Yeah, he did a really good job on that thing. I can't wait to see it's colored.
Yeah, I was about to say, I can't wait to see some green in there. I was going to say something and I forgot, so can you edit this out and give me a minute to think about it?
Of course. No, I'll leave it in. I'll just leave
silence.
I'll put in that, the Jeopardy music.
Oh, I remember.
Okay, what's up?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think stories like that are really important. And that also kind of leads me to something interesting. Started a new book yesterday. Started reading a new book. Can't recall the title perfectly right now. It might just be Queer Sex.
Oh, the new book.
Yeah.
I'm like 90% sure it's called Queer Sex. If it's not, I will edit in the correct title now.
Yes.
Queer sex.
And one of the first things it's talking about in the introduction that I think you would really like, but I also think makes a really good example of trans people who may not have dysphoria or who have dysphoria in not often portrayed ways, where, like, basically she's talking about how there's a really specific line in there that I underlined, but it's kind of the idea that well, obviously she fantasized a lot about and wanted a vagina and got surgery to achieve that, and you know the feeling. But
You're also trans,
we get it. But how she didn't think it was, or at least she just didn't think it was healthy to demonize her genitals when she did have a penis. And now she's kind of got this feeling of like, it's the same skin, it's the same flesh, just refashioned into a vagina. I still have that same skin I've always had, and I appreciate it for what it is, and I appreciated it in its own way before. I just, I vibe with it much better now.
Mm-hmm.
And how when she had a penis, she viewed it as like this, like, I don't hate my penis necessarily, because someday it will be my vagina. And I just thought that was such, like, a beautiful way to put it, and such a great example of just the fluidity of trans bodies, and how it's not always, like, born in the wrong body, I hate it, because she was like, no, like, it's my flesh, it's my body, I love it, I'm just rearranging it a little.
Yeah, I definitely, like, I personally, in my own mental health, have kind of gone through a certain journey similar to that. Not on the level of, like, because personally I'm just not interested currently, and I don't really think I ever would with bottom surgery, but when it comes to taking estrogen, in particular, and the effects and changes that might occur with that, and that I'm hopeful for, and that basically, like, I when I look in the mirror now, when used to be, like, I had this, like, chain of thought that was basically like, oh, I hate what I see because it's a man, and I wasn't putting it in those words, but it was like, these, like, deep innate feelings that were just kind of leading one to another to get me to that. But anyways, I saw myself as a man, and that led to, like, a lot of anxiety in me and depression. But now thanks again to being able to be honest with myself and being in an environment that allows and fosters that kind of growth in me, I'm able to now look in the mirror, and even if I still see, like, that person did with their penis and, their hopes of changing it into a vagina, I see myself where I'm like, I don't see myself as a man anymore. I've actualized myself in my mind to be like, this is a woman. And these are the traits that I have now, and thanks to certain things, I'm starting to, like, notice and accentuate and embrace and accept and love certain parts of my body, and I'm really happy with what it is right now. But I'm also really excited by the possibilities that I see in myself, thanks to the opportunities that I know are available to me, thanks to having medical resources and coverage to get that.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, in my experience, I started HRT generally, I mean, there's some people who started really, really young, but I started it at 17, which I think is pretty young compared to the general population.
In America especially, yeah.
Yeah. And, I don't regret it. I'm very glad I did, in fact. And I support, I don't think there should be all the bullshit hoops you have to jump through to start it at, 16, 17, or even a little younger.
Go in front of the medical assembly, who will then judge you on the
I
level
know,
of 1 to
yeah.
10 of how gay you are.
Yeah. Or at the very least, being able to go on puberty blockers and, whatever. Um, but there was one thing that it is not directly a problem with me starting HRT at a young age. In fact, it would have been better if information and education about HRT was more widely accessible. But in my instance, the one problem I think I had, and it talks about this in the book too, is, she talks about how after her surgery, she just kind of thought everything would fall into place and she would magically be not insecure anymore, not shy anymore. She, has this vagina and she's going to be sexy and everything she
the
wants.
magic switch has been flipped.
Yeah, everything she wants herself to be. And I think, being so young and starry-eyed and naive, and you look at these 4-year, on testosterone updates done by 30-year-olds and everything, and you're like, yeah, this is a goal for me by the age of 18. So I think when I started testosterone, I was very distraught for a while that I was still myself. Because I had a lot of gender unrelated problems with myself too. Starting testosterone while being anorexic was probably not great for everything. Or while recovering, I should say. I was doing a lot better at that time, but anyway. Yeah, so I've learned so much more just aging, and which sounds so funny to say as a 20-year-old.
Oh no, it's the police. They've come to arrest us for being gay. Oh no.
I knocked over a notebook with my foot. I'm sorry, everybody.
Yeah, don't worry. I killed the cops. I killed them all. I snapped their necks. We're good. So keep on going. What were you saying?
Yeah, no, I mean, I feel like I've just learned so much more about, because, the way she worded it in the introduction was, it's just flesh. And I know, believe me, I understand the significance of flesh. It's how you're perceived, and that can be great or it can be, heartbreaking in a lot of ways. But at the same time, it's just flesh, and it changing will not innately change who you are or the rest of you, or it not changing will not change who you are. And I don't know, I just thought it was a really interesting note to bring up and maybe end on, just all of those jumbled thoughts.
No, I mean, I definitely think that it's this thing where, it's this observable condition, and I want to be careful with my words, because I don't, when I say condition, I don't mean a disease or anything like that, but this is something that and this gets into a big conversation of what is gender and what it is, but people who societally are identify as one gender and not the other, are maybe they don't even identify as gender, and the real way that they can be comfortable is through augmentation of themselves, not forcing down medication, doing shock therapy, all this corrective measures that actually encourage these natural phenomena that happen in people psychologically, chemically. I'm not an expert on that shit, but these are things that are just kind of innately in people, and there are medical means to support people to get them to at least have a better relation with their body that's more comfortable, more accommodating to them, to have them be confident and active, supportive members in their community. And that's really important. And really right now we have, thankfully, at least institutions that offer it, that, you know, you can go to Planned Parenthood and start your HRT. Like, it's a pathway in this country, but it's also doesn't really have a lot of built-in community infrastructure to help support that transition in a healthy way. Past, you know, just stuff that they find, like maybe a kind of admittedly toxic Discord group or whatever. Or, let's face it, let's be honest with ourselves, porn communities. It's, you know, like, that's the only, like, people who are chasing the pure dopamine rush of transitioning, which can be good, and that dopamine rush is valid and should be embraced, because it is a good thing. It is something that's progressing you to a state of finally accepting yourself as you truly are. But that needs to be done in moderation. It needs to be done in an intelligent way. It's fun, it's exciting, and you should embrace those things, and I am all for the encouragement of those kind of things. I'm not a prude or Protestant prude or whatever, but I also am someone who understands that there is a time and a place and a need for people that during their transition to sit down and deal with the actual mental triumphs and turbulations that they're going to have and have to deal with to successfully transition into something that they're going to, you know, be in a good state to be who they are in a good, you know, an active contributing member of this world around them. So, yeah.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, like, there's no better way to put it, like, when talking about the mental aspect anyway, of just that, like, being trans in America, for, like, 99.9% of trans people is traumatic. Like, it's just traumatic. For so many...
No support, that's what I think. It's main, very little support.
Yeah, no, and, like, it's just, there's just so much to it, but, I mean, that's kind of the beauty of it as well, is that, you know, I think trans people, you know, without dysphoria in particular, because I think they get a lot of shit from the trans community, from people with dysphoria, and I say that as someone who was, in fact, psychiatrically diagnosed with it, but, like, I think those people are especially brave in the sense that, I don't know, just they get shit from cis people, they get shit from dysphoric trans people, and to be able to get all of that and still come out and say, I know it doesn't make sense to much of anyone other than the very small percent of a very small percent of the population who are like me. I don't really desire to change my body. I know how I feel, and you're not going to change that. I think it's just such a beautiful testament to, like, I don't know what you'd even call it, but just the human ability to, or really not even that, but just the power that comes in embracing yourself. And I think that power applies to everyone, whether dysphoric or trans or, like, whoever you are. I think ultimately just being content with who you are in the moment is really empowering.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another dope, spectacular, grand, old, immaculate, spectacular episode of Gay Program. Don't you fucking raise your eyebrow. That was good. That was good fucking writing. Anyways, this has not been another episode 8 of Gay
Are we really at 8 episodes?
Yeah,
already?
This is episode 8. Yeah. Yeah, Gay Programming. Great one as always. You can catch us on Instagram. We got ourselves Gay Programming on Instagram. Angsty Vegan is Merlin's handle on Instagram, and mine is FemMarks. So yeah, I do poetry on mine, and Merlin is just a really cute old button. So maybe you want to have him in your feed. So yeah, but hope you are doing good. Hope you're staying safe, and hope for the love of God this episode doesn't get deleted.
Oh my gosh.
And hope the next one doesn't get deleted either, because I'm hoping to get these out weekly from now on. So,
Sweet.
As always, love you, and we'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye.
Bye, friends.
We're driving from town to town, singing these same old protest songs, night after night, for a rowdy punk rock crowd. They lift up their hands and scream when we sing power to the poor, and we open the door to the world with our fists raised high. We're gonna fight, 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 fight until we die. We're gonna fight, 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 fight until we die. We're gonna fight.